Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, my speakers, and good afternoon, my junior and seniors, all team members.
Good
So,
afternoon.
since we have been conducting these FDP programs on 2020-21 last 10 days, so today is 11th day. So, our good speaker today we are representing regarding animations and VFX, substance of painter and designer. His name is Mr. Jan Iqbal Khan, and he is working with INHR Education Solution Tribal Limited in ITM Nerul as an animation and VFX professor. And he is working in this industry since 7 years. For 5 years, he worked as a freelancer artist for various international studios. Over these years, he has learned a lot of new softwares. Some of them are Maya 3ds, Max Photoshop, Substance, Painter, JetBrush, Mary After Effects, Blender 3D, CryGening, Unity 3D, Unreal Engine, and many more. So welcome to Overdue Sirs. You can start your session, sir. Jan sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So,
Good
let's
afternoon. Sir.
good afternoon. So, let me share my screen with you all first.
Very good afternoon, Zain sir.
Very good afternoon. Sir, can I share my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, you
Yes,
cannot.
sir. Yeah. You can
Uh,
share your screen, sir.
yeah, sure, sir. So, let me share my screen with you all. Okay, sure. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's visible to
Sure.
all.
So Suman sir has already given an introduction about me, but let me give you a short introduction about me. I'm a 3D artist and I've been working as a freelance artist as well as a faculty at ITM iNurture. And it's been 7 years since I've been doing this in this field. And I've been using all of these softwares for more than around 10 or 11 years since I began working in this field ever since the first version of Blender was launched when I was in college. Okay, so ever since when I saw the power of Blender and all, I got interested into this because at that time in the college ages you like these kind of things, and I was always interested in making something beautiful, creating beautiful world, an environment or something related to games and all. But in those years the gaming field was nowhere to be seen, especially in India. Okay, so I'll share my Instagram account as well as ArtStation, so you can have a look at some of my previous work. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, and you can see some of these works. As I like to point out especially this work because this was entirely textured in using Substance Painter. And as you can see, all of those textures and the details that I've done on this been done entirely using Substance Painter. Of course, the modeling part was done inside ZBrush and Maya, uh, all those details that you see, but most of the part, and especially the texturing part, was done using Substance Painter and Substance Designer. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about Substance Painter and Substance Designer with you all. Right now I have my Substance Painter open. I'm just going to give you a basic overview and what we can do with Substance Painter. I hope you might have heard about Substance Painter, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, one of the
Yes.
most powerful softwares. Even Mari is also a good texturing software, but if you'll ask me, I personally prefer Substance Painter. Why? Because it is not heavy on memory and RAM, and for especially for the purpose of gaming and all, this is quite a brilliant software. Yes, of course, if I want some texturing details on over a character or an organic texturing, I prefer Mario over this, since a lot of brushes and all that easier work. But then again, I like to point out that can be done in Substance Painter as well. Okay, so for Substance Painter, as we all know, without a model, if the model is not unwrapped, Substance Painter won't work. The model won't work inside Substance Painter. It will directly throw an error that your model needs to be unwrapped. See, I have my model unwrapped. This is just a simple oil barrel for this purpose of lecture. Okay, so all my UVs are unwrapped. All my UVs are in place. My model is unwrapped. What I'm going to do is I'm simply just going to export this model out of this, as I've already done, and I'm just just going to replace it. So, how to bring this model inside Substance Painter, the model that you see right now? File, new. In Substance Painter, whenever you want to begin texturing, you need to you need to create a new project and select your mesh at the beginning. Okay, over here we can see a lot of templates. Adobe Dimension. This is for Dota 2 game, and this is for Lens Studio. This is non PBR, which PBR like only there'll be only two maps are going to be the special specular and glossiness. This what we should be interested in is PBR, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. PBR. So PBR, metal roughness, you get metallic map, roughness map. Over here you'll get, if you over this if you have any questions, you can just stop me and ask me right away. So I'm going to choose this PBR metallic. These are templates that have been there default by default in Substance Painter, and we are not going to tick on this, because if we have UDIMs over a model, then and only then we need to check this box. Now, what are UDIMs? I'm going to talk about it a little while later, and leave all the settings rest to default what they are. Let's select our mesh from here. Okay, rest of the settings can be left as default because they can be changed over the time while exporting the textures. Okay, the only thing that you have to check or uncheck is this. Like right now, I'm not checking this because I don't need it right now. I don't have UDIMs over this model. Okay, and my model's material is also named, as you can see, oil barrel shader, oil barrel material. All right, so if I'm going to select this and I'm going to hit OK, discard this project. And now if you can see, just a minute, can you see this oil barrel shader, right? Exactly the same thing that I did over here. Just a minute. Let me pin this over here on this side. Okay. Okay. So you can see this is the shader name that we have given, and Substance Painter is catching that exactly the same shader name. In Substance Painter or in Mari, the model is recognized by the name of the shader, but not by the name of the material. That's an important point. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to texture this. I'm going to make this a little bit rusty and a little bit old just for the sake of this tutorial purpose. Okay. So the first thing is first, whenever you bring in your model or begin texturing in Substance Painter, you need to make your mesh maps. Okay. Now I'll explain what the mesh maps are in a minute. Okay. So as you can see, all of these columns were empty, and now you can see there are images that have been filled over here. So what are these? What are these maps? These maps are the details of your model, like the edges and the curved, the curvatures and all that you can see, the corners as you can see over here. All of these details have been, you know, caught up inside a single texture map. So what the ease of the work is, the workflow will be simple. You don't have to worry about, increasing the polygons of your model. All of those details are now over here. I mean, all have been baked inside just one single texture map. Now I'll quickly show you a few textures so that we can, since the lecture is just for 2 hours, and so let me just quickly show you a few features of this. See, these are the materials that come by default inside Substance Painter, and some of them have been created by me, uh, either using Substance Painter or Substance Designer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the one that comes by default inside Substance Painter, iron rod image, and I'm going to simply drag it over here. Here on the right side column, you can see there are layers. These are the texture set settings, like the textures that we use, and these are the properties of that particular layer. In Substance Painter, each and every layer have their own properties. To show you an example, I'll just right click on your viewport window and you can see the roughness, the color you can alter, and just a minute, you can change the color to whatever you want, whatever color barrel you want. Okay, now if I'm going to put some other texture over here, just let me go through over here. Say for example, I'll put this paint glossy. Now if I'm going to right click on this particular layer, you can see this particular layer have different properties, right? So each and every new layer have their own particular properties. That's what Substance Painter is about. It works on the basis of layers, which is very, very useful. Now, what I did over here was simply just drag this layer. Now, let me point you out this thing. Okay, when I'm going to click on this layer and I'm going to hit right click, you can see color, height, roughness, metal, normal. These are all PBR textures, okay, texture maps. Now, each and every layer have their own properties, as I have said earlier. You can see color over here. You can see the height is not activated. Why? Because I don't want the height of this particular layer. Okay, I just want the roughness and metalness of this particular layer. And if I'm going to switch on this layer, now you can see the color is deactivated. Why? Because I don't want the color. I don't want this color. If I'm going to activate it once again, you can see it is picking up this color, as you can see. But as soon as I switch off the color, no matter whatever you do, the color is deactivated, right? And if now even the metalness property is deactivated on this because it was too metallic, and the oil barrel that we want is a little bit rough, as you can see. Now you can control the metalness and roughness over from here, but I don't want the roughness over here. So you know you can define how much roughness you want. You can see, because I'm using the roughness property of this, and if you want, you can switch off the roughness property of this plastic glossy pure material. See, these are the drag and drops materials that come up with Substance Painter. Now I'm using 2018. In 2020, there are a little bit more materials than what you can see over here, and this is your shelf. Okay, whatever you bring in, or whatever there is inside the Substance Painter, you can find them all inside the shelf. If I'll click on this all, you can see a lot of alpha maps, uh, a lot of various kind of materials and all. If I'm going to hit on project, only the images that are related to this project could be found over here, only the resources that are related to this project. So for example, if I'm going to import another resource, some outside resource which I have already downloaded from net or something, say for example this is the resource that I want. Let's consider, first and foremost, we need to define what this is. This is texture, and we want to save this inside a current session. Now what is this? Whenever we bring in import in something, Substance Painter asks us what is this particular thing. Okay, whether it is an alpha, black and white, whether it's a color LUT, whether it's an environment is something which I'm going to come a little while later, or whether it is a texture. We need to define that this particular thing is a texture and import your resources too. Until and unless we select one option from over here, the import button will be deactivated. So I need to define now what is current session. Current session means the session that we are using right now. As soon as I close my Substance Painter, the imported texture will go away. The project means the project that we are currently working on. If we save this project as an oil barrel project, the texture that we are bringing will be saved inside this project. And shelf means that it is going to be there inside Substance Painter forever until and unless we uninstall it. So I'm going to select current session and import. Now, as soon as as I've imported, you can see the texture is over here. Let's close this. And now let's go into the project. Okay. And textures, I'm sorry, we defined it as texture. Okay, you can find your texture inside over here. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so it's lagging a little bit. Now you can see this texture, this particular texture was imported by me, and I saved it inside shell because I want to use it. I want to keep using it for my other projects. So that's why I have saved it inside my shell. And this particular texture is just saved inside my current session. So if as soon as I close my Substance Painter, this texture will vanish away. Okay. Now over here you can see a lot of things, alphas, grunges, and all. You can just experiment stuff. You can find a various brushes and all. I'm going to display one particular one of those brushes over here, so you can get the feel and idea. Over here you can see particles. Particles are not the particles are nothing else but brushes. Okay, even these are brushes, but these are animated brushes. I'm going to show you. Now these are the tools. Even these tools are brushes, but some with some unique features. These are the materials that we have talked earlier. Some are inbuilt, some have been created by me. Now these are the smart materials. Okay, what we have used over here was material. In little while we are going to use smart material, smart mask. Okay, what is environment? I'm going to show you just right now. See, you can see the lights over here. As soon as I hold down shift and hold down my right click, and I'm going to drag it up and down, you can see the light is shifting. This lighting is coming through an environment, through an HDRI. Okay, so over here you can see a lot of environments that have been that have been given to us by Substance Painter. So you can just experiment different kinds of lights. let's, let's bring it this one. Let's see what this gives us. See, now let's try something else. Let's try this. Now if you want to see, if you want to check whether an environment is coming up or not, from mode you can set it to rendering mode. F10 is the shortcut key for this. Now you can see your environment, right? Of course, you can render your models out inside Substance Painter as well, but uh, like it's considered that it's better you render it inside some other 3D software. But yeah, for a display purpose or for showreel purpose, it is good. Now, if you want to clear out the background, you can just hit on clear color, and the background will vanish away. Only the lightings will be visible to us. So in that way, you can get the alpha so that you can replace the background. You can replace the background. See, over here you can see the environment settings, and from here you can select another environment if you want. Okay, let's check it. One of Eco Street. Let's select this cave environment and see. Right now, select this just to give you another example. Okay, so I'll go with this, and it's okay. Now I'm going to come back to the painting mode. So these are the settings of the environment. Okay, and color profiles are the color profiles which I'm going to come on that. All right, so now let's add a bit of rust over this. Okay, let me search rust. Let's bring it over here. So as you can see, this entire model is covered with rust, right? When we press F6, it goes into the orthographic view. When we press F5, it goes into the perspective view. Okay. So you can see it's covered entirely with rust. All I can do is right click on this layer. Each and every layer have their own properties as I've discussed. So if you want, you can alter the color of this. Right click and add a black mask. The entire thing is masked out. Now all we can do is simply select one of the brushes, just one of the brushes, any of the brushes. Let's use this one. Now I have the freedom to, reveal certain areas. It's clearly like Photoshop, right? Masking and unmasking things. Now, when you're going to right click on this, see right now we are in the mask of this layer. We are not inside the layer itself. We are in the mask. And as soon as I hit right click, here I'm going to get the settings of the brushes. See, size, flow. I can alter the size, flow, stroke opacity, spacing if I want to, and flow jitter, just to get a bit of randomness in the angle jitterness. And no, I can also change the alpha over here. Right now it's a bark alpha. If you want, you can bring in your own alpha and you can do some nice interesting stuff. So let's do this. And you know, let's try and paint over here. These are the stuffs that you can do. Let me use a different environment. Right now it's a bit, I want a bit of light. Yeah, this one looks good. This environment looks good. So you can try different stuff, keep experimenting, and it's quite easy. And if you have pen tablet, which I'm not using right now, I'm using my mouse. If you use pen tablet, you're gonna get exciting results. See, in the gaming companies, let's talk about gaming companies. What they are doing is almost 80% or 85% of those studios are using Substance Painter for texturing the assets. If you're going to talk about, let's talk about, the gaming engines for a few moments. Unreal Engine. See, Unreal Engine. We all know about Unreal Engine, right? We all know about it. See, whatever the textures that we see, whatever the quality of the work that we see over here, almost all of the studios have now switched to Unreal Engine, as you all know, due to the triple A quality of its due to triple A quality games that we get. Now they are going to launch Unreal Engine 5, which is absolutely mind blowing. If you haven't seen its video, go check it out. Okay. Now, if you want to believe me, if you don't know about this fact, most of the Hollywood studios are also switching to real time rendering, which is Unreal Engine. As you can see, you might have seen the new series Mandalorian. If you have seen, it's on Netflix, right? If you haven't seen it, just take a look at it, and you're gonna and see the environment quality in it. They have used Unreal Engine entirely for the environment. Now, what is the relation between Unreal Engine and Substance Painter? All of those textures that we see behind, and those high quality things that we see over here, you know, the integration of Substance Painter with Unreal Engine is quite marvelous. Not even it integrates with it so well, and Unreal Engine have their own plugin for Substance Painter to directly call the textures and model inside Unreal Engine through Substance Painter. So amazing it is, right? Because the texturing and the quality of the textures that we get and the list of materials available inside the community of Substance Painter is quite brilliant. If you want, you can go to Substance Exchange. Just give me a minute. create an account over here, and here you will
One
find.
question. uh,
Sure, sir.
One question we have could you define the concept of PBR, because exactly if we are going and work into the substance center, whatever the things that you had represented yet, all things till now we can same do into the mudbox also, Zebras also, as well as in 3D pen tool we having long time back in a Maya also. So
Okay.
these things we can do over there. Then why to use the substance?
Okay, the workflow, firstly, Substance Painter follows PBR workflow, right? As you can see now, see all of these textures, I'm going to call them inside Maya to display you the use of the PBR. Just give me a minute, okay?
What is exactly PBR first? I think that concept would be clear. Then only we can go ahead.
Okay, PBR is physically based rendering technique. Okay, so like say for example, uh, if let me show you one example of that.
And like you said, sir, it's a physical based rendering, right?
Physical based rendering, yes.
Okay. So likely
PBR,
it's for rendering, majorly not for texturing, as per full from.
yes. See, for example, if you can see over here, let me show you one. Rather than showing you through going through entire process of texturing, it's better I'll show you the list of maps what makes a PBR material, right? PBR materials. Just give me a minute. Okay, see here you can see the list of materials that I have, and let me go to. Have you ever heard about mega scans? Mega scans. If anyone,
Yes, yes. Pixel
yes,
and Megascan both.
yes. So over here I have created my account, and from here you can download the textures. So I'm going to show you the textures from this website, and it's going to be quite quite easy for me to explain to you what is actually PBR. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at Mota, and okay. Okay, so now over here you can see the quality and all. Now let me click on this. As soon as I click on this, see here you can see the set of textures and the list of textures. See, all of these are maps that we use for PBR. Say for example, albedo. Albedo is just a simple JPEG image that you can do inside Photoshop, as you have mentioned. Okay. Now this normal map you can generate through ZBrush, right? Now the displacement map we can paint over here inside Substance Painter, or even you can generate it out using you know using ZBrush. The bump maps can be generated through Substance Painter. Say, for example, if you're texturing or if you're creating something inside ZBrush or Mudbox, even those, all of those maps that you have named, that even those are PBR, right? But to generate those maps and to get those quality out of it, you need to subdivide them, and you need to, you know, create a lot more polygons over it. But over here, as you can see, I have just brought over here my simple, not so detailed. As you can see, it is just a mere some, a 2000 or 3000 polygons model. And what I did over here, I started painting over here with those fine details that you do inside ZBrush. In ZBrush, you need to polypaint it over them, right? Can you create the textures using masks and all? No, I don't think so. There's no freedom over there.
Because we having also that option.
Sorry.
In Zebras also we having the masking and all
Yeah,
features.
the
So
masking and all
actually,
over
I
there.
think why it's called PBR? Because whatever the maps you had shared, sir, like a diffuse
Yes,
map, you said it's a albedo, and we
yes,
having bump map, displacement map.
yes.
So these are the common maps. So why it's saying known as a PBR? What is the word
The
keyword PBR?
all those
This is
maps
the
that
first question.
you have said are actually PBR. Okay. I
Map
don't.
called PBR.
Yes, like all those maps that you use, that whatever the maps that you've talked about, and whatever the maps that I'm talking about, I'm speaking about, those are all PBR rendering. Those are all PBR maps used in PBR material. Okay.
So I think if we are generating normal map with this software, then it's a PBR. But if we are generating the normal map with ZBrush or in a Photoshop also, like a crazy bump and all, then that would be also PBR or not.
Yes, that will also be PBR. But the freedom that you get inside generating inside Substance Painter, like I've used Crazy Bumps, even I've used ZBrush, even I use ZBrush for a long time, but the freedom that I get in texturing over in Substance Painter, and the maps that I'm generating, all those PBR maps that I generate through Substance Painter, are very, working and very easy, very simple for me. And the workflow becomes very simple, very easier for me. So if, say for example, if you want to generate a normal map out of it inside ZBrush, you're going to need to generate, subdivide it on multiple times, and then create those scratches and all those stuffs, whatever you want over there. If you try Substance Painter once on my request, you're gonna find your workflow a lot more easier. And PBR textures react
No,
to
no, sir, I
lights.
totally agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
totally agree. I had a work with a substance painter also. But
Yes.
like this is all of for us now. So I thought maybe several professor with us, they having no idea about the PBR. That's why I requested as an subject matter expert, you can define a little much better what is the concept of PBR. Having a better idea about PBR. It's a physical based rendering, all the mediums, everything. But I think
Hmm.
as an expert, we
Hmm.
can define more. But I would like to correct a little. The map is a map. This maps is not called PVR, like diffuse map. These things you said, na sir.
Hmm.
Suman sir, could you correct in this one thing? Because as a gaming professor, you may having a better idea about the concept of PVR. Suman sir is here.
Sure, sir.
Sir, could you like make a spotlight? Like I think I'm little confused about the foundation concept of PVR. Okay, we are using maps. Okay, well and good. These are the maps, but I don't think so. This map called PVR because already if each and every map having self name like normal map and
Hmm.
bitmap map, then why it's so called PVR? There would be something justification behind this one thing, na sir? Because this is a
See,
fundamental question. It could be asked by a student. So, what would be the right answer for this?
as far as I have been using, as long as I have been using, maybe I might be wrong. As you can see, as you have said that the my concept is a little bit shaky, but
Actually, what the answer we should be replying? You are also right. We are also right. But what could be the definition? This is like a first question from a student. Na.
okay, the first question from the student. See, for as what I can most probably I can explain over to you is this is the clear concept that physical based rendering is realistic shading and lighting. Say for example, if you have a model over here, say for example, let me use this. Like I'm going to define you what I mean, but first let me apply these maps over here and let me show you, and then you can create your own definition out of what I'm actually trying to show. Okay, say for example, this is my plane. Like as far as I know, I might be a little bit outdated, and you might be considering that, but let's say for example I assign new material, and this is what I normally use, and this is what my workflow is. See, Arnold's shader is actually PBR based shader, as you know, right? AI standard surface shader. Here over here, I'm going to implement my diffuse map file. Okay, so my computer. Over here, I have a list of maps which I call PBR. Okay, grassy surface. Let's go with this. Okay, I'll go with this. All right, this is a plain diffuse. Now I don't need metalness over on this, so I'm going to implement my roughness map over here. Sac this map. Okay. Sorry, didn't intend to do that. Just want this path. Okay. So this is what I want, right? Okay, so let me first set this to raw, since it's being black and white. In the newer versions of Maya, you might be familiar with it. You don't need to do all of these things. I'm using 2018. Over here, I can adjust the specular. And then here, we'll implement bump maps. Let's set this to tangent space. Okay. And these are the bumps. Now using these maps, you can see my model is reacting to lights, right? So
Yes,
this
yes.
so-called this so-called lighting and the maps that we have applied, the details and the quality that we have been getting, that we are getting over here. And if I'm going to use displacement map over this, which I'm not going to use right now, but if I'll use displacement map with it, this particular shading, if I might be wrong, like you said, but this particular shading and the reaction to the lights is what I call PBR. So now you can create your own definition, and you can, and if you can correct me if I'm missing something out, because as far as I know.
I think so now, yeah, the workflow is totally correct, sir. So, like earlier, you had stated these maps. So, I think, as per my purview, this is an open discussion. All we are teachers, definitely, we
Yes,
all
yes,
are
sir.
aware of
No
it.
issues, no issues, sir.
So, now, this should be in a physical based rendering
Yes,
textures. It
yes,
react the surface quality with respect to the real world light emission technique. This is the
yes.
difference which is not available when we are working with normal ZBrush, Mudbox, Mari, or any other software.
Sure,
So
sir.
this is the exact real world emission with react to the light sensitivity.
Sure, sir.
And this is only happening.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is the one only definition. Sometimes as a teacher we confuse. We know everything.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes I say, what is the definition, sir? Let me know. All we are 99% time confused. That's why I thought if something new keyword you having, then that would be much better to upgrade myself also.
So so you like this? Like, if I'm missing something, you can just point out.
No, no, sir. Interesting, and right now, like like as a teacher, we should be get upgrade about these softwares also.
Yes,
Because
sir.
the industry is upgrading now, and
Yes,
the
sir.
quality, whatever we are getting, like at initial you had shared with us, this is a very big problem with a Mari because whenever we are working for a movie and all,
Yes,
then
yes,
Mari
sir.
is good.
Yes,
But
sir.
for gaming and all, substance is excellent.
Yes, sir.
So really
Excellent.
very impressive application.
Like for the gaming purpose, I've always been using Substance Painter because see, I've also worked on a few gaming projects as a freelancer, like not for a big studio, but yeah. So their workflow has always been, you know, around somewhere around using Substance Painter and all. Very rarely they use Mari for gaming. Okay, see the reaction to the
And
lights
like
and all.
one more question I have from my student also, sir. If you can help me
Yes,
to
sir.
get identify the difference between, that would be much better.
Sure, sir. You
Like
can ask.
once I have got a message from student when we are importing that like a file, new file, like you imported a new external
Yes, yes,
file in a
yes, sir.
software.
Yes, sir.
At that time, there is some category textures and color LUT. So exactly what is this color LUT? It's a common LUT value which we are using into the compositing software, or this is something different? Because I was trying to find out the answer, but I'm not able to find the answer of color LUT in a substance painter help file also. So if you can help me to get understand the color LUT, what is exactly specific, then it
Okay,
would
okay,
be
sir.
much better.
Color LUT. Actually, it's
When
related to some VFX software or something. Color correction lookup, color lookup software.
PCB file is something we are using into the VFX, and specifically when we are rendering into the Maya also, na.
Okay,
So in a
okay,
render time in indirect illumination technique, we having LUT value
okay,
over there.
okay, okay.
So is that same only, or it's a something difference? This is
Uh,
the one question I have got from a student, and I had not replied yet because I was also identifying the answer. Then I thought today you could be help us in
Honestly,
maybe
sir,
finding the differences.
I'll be very honest with you. I have never, you know, got that opportunity to, you know, import anything like related to color LUT or something. But you know, I think I can find something. I'm just looking over on Google on the side. I'll be very honest, because
We can do na later on we can connect also, sir. I think there would be
yes, yes, sir.
interruption na? Like
Yes, yes, sir.
so
Yes,
later
sir.
on we can find out the right answer for this,
Yes,
then
sir.
that would be much better for.
Yes, yes. Even like whenever, as soon as you said about color alert, exactly my mind went on to Unreal Engine, because even that day when I was using Unreal Engine, there was something, the same thing came up, like while importing. So even when then I was stuck over there. So okay, and now so I hope I'm clear with this. Okay, for this purpose, I'm going to use some other good textures. Like this was just a normal grass. Let's use something interesting. See, if you are having an account on Unreal Engine, you can get these mega scan textures right at your fingertips, and you can, you know, implement. And if you are like right now, my PC configuration is quite low, so it's just showing in a 4K resolution. If you are having good PC configuration specifications, 8K will be the good option for you. So have you heard about Unreal Engine 5, which has been like, which is going to be launched soon? Have you seen the look of it?
Yeah, actually,
Yes, we have
unfortunately,
seen. Yeah.
I'm also a beta tester of Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, very nice. So in Unreal Engine 5, I guess so, there you don't need to bake out normal maps. Like you can directly import your high polygon models inside Unreal Engine 5, as I've read about that day. Is it true?
Specifically, like in a Unity and Unreal, like
Yes.
a few days back, we have one expert in our FDP. So
Yes,
he
sir.
has also shared now both are working majorly for like a movie integrated work.
Movie
So
integrated.
real time, it's a really very drastic. And when last 1 year back, now Unreal is also free. So now it's a very big
Yes.
competitor.
Yes,
As
sir.
he was their entire market earlier and earlier. And
As of late,
personally, I also like more in Unreal rather than Unity.
yes, sir. Even I prefer Unreal. As of late, sir, I have been using CryEngine, because
Right.
you know, because it is quite an untouched software. Most of the people avoid using it. So I thought,
All
let's
was developed in a CryEngine only long time back.
okay. And sir, I don't have problem with that. It's a very good software, sir. Like I don't know why people are afraid using it or something like that, because the freedom in it. like although it's a bit confusing, I'll agree with that, but I love the interface and the quality that I'm getting. It's quite brilliant, right, sir?
Actually, I'm not a user of CryEngine. Long time back in my college time, I had only graphical user interface I had a check, so
Okay,
I
okay.
can't comment on that application.
Actually, so the quality that I've been getting inside substance and inside CryEngine, the environment qualities especially, it's very brilliant, sir. I'm enjoying using it. S- I'll assign a new materials, and although it's quite clear now the concept with you, sir, but let's try something more interesting texture, so we'll get some interesting results. Bricks, and I'll apply this normal albedo. It's taking quite long. Okay, 4K. I'll click on this, and I'm going to apply. Now there's no metalness over here, so I'll leave the metalness to 0. So this is the freedom that we get in PBR. You can define the weight, and I always use roughness workflow rather than specular workflow. So that's why I'm just applying normal roughness map and just gonna control the speculars using the slider. In the newer versions of Maya, there's no use to change the color space. In 29, ever since 2019, they've changed this. So, and yeah, even this is a part of, you know, this is a part where you can, alter the PBR IOR, index of refraction. I can alter the color. I can alter the specular weight if I want a little bit of speculars or not. And over here in the geometry, I'm going to apply my bump maps. Right now, I'm just using the sliders. And if you can also mix your bump maps along with normal maps using inside the hypershade. I guess I normally use normal map for my work. Okay. Okay, sir. And sorry, let's set this color space to raw, and alpha is luminous, and I'm going to switch on my lights. So yes, we have something quite interesting. Right, sir? I'll set this to 0 a little bit. Now, if I'm going to zoom in, the texture quality is 4K, so the quality is also quite brilliant. Can you see it, sir?
Yeah, it's looking really very super realistic and beautiful.
Okay, so now I hope I'm clear with PBR stuff. Right. So now, how are these maps and like, let me go over here. Just go over here to Substance Exchange first. So even here you can get materials and textures and shaders for free. This is a free exchange platform for Substance Painter. Say for example, whatever material that we are seeing over here inside Substance Painter, or all these smart materials. Let me apply one smart material for you. Oil barrel. Okay, let me apply this. Whatever we see over here, these, list of materials and their sliders, all of them, you know, can be created inside Substance Designer. Now, I'll be very honest, I don't have Substance Designer as of right now because uh, like my machine wasn't functioning properly, so I had to uninstall Substance Designer, but I can obviously show you using images. See, so all of these materials, all of these PBR materials that we created using, inside Substance Painter, inside Substance Designer, we can create these shaders using nodes. See this workflow, sir. Like we can bring in our entire mesh and create. So have you ever tried Substance Designer? That's the first question.
Yes, yes, sir.
It's a
We
brilliant
had a
software.
work in System Designer also. So
The
later
nodes are quite
we can.
complicated.
Yeah,
The no-
but if the people who had a work in a nuke, na, so they are
Yes,
familiar with
yes, sir. The in Nuke, like I've used
the.
Blender, so I found the nodes quite, simple. But yeah, I'll be honest, I've not, never tried Nuke ever for my stuff.
And traditional methodology of 3D user is a maximum layer base only. So we are much comfortable in layer base. That's why Substance Center is looking much easier.
Yes, sir. Like I'll skip the sculpting part.
I think there is a one question from Arun sir. He is expecting on a small bottle, let us paint one result, and that would be really very appreciable for all of us to have some result based outcome.
Okay, so just a minute. I cannot see the chat.
Yes, sir, you can check in the chat. How do you texture and shading all that in bottle and substance?
So can you repeat? The voice was lagging a bit.
How
Yes, sir.
do we create the texture and shading of the old dirty wine bottle in Substance Painter?
Wine bottle inside Substance Painter. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me check wine bottle.
Sorry to interrupt, Arun sir, but wine bottle, why dirty, sir?
No, I just wanted to see, like, how we can work with glass material.
Okay.
But wine should be only detail clean, does sir?
Yeah, usually whenever we want to create glass, it is much more easier. Just drag and drop the shader. But the challenge is, to mix and match, like, make it dirty or add some details to it.
Okay. So, like how to create texture
Yeah,
of this?
I shared the image also in the chat.
Sure, sir. Let me check one. So this one looks like this
Yeah,
kind of texture.
we can use this also.
Yes. But first, I need a wine bottle. You can go with this one.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. So I'll extract this. Okay, so it's there. File import. Okay, let me check the UVs first. It's not unwrapped well. So, do you use Udemy, sir? Anybody? Udemy. I'm going to use Udemy over this so that I'll have a completely different shader. Okay, now let's select this. Okay, I'll assign a new material to this. Or better, I'll just use a Udemy over here simply, so that all I have is just my okay. So now it's quite clear. I've used Udemy over here, and I'll just scale it to get more better resolution. And let me just check it out. Okay, fine. All right, so this is fine. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply export this out. File export selection. I'm sorry, sir, my software will be lagging in between a little bit because of low configuration. Stop. Immortal. Okay, I'll click on this. इसका okay. So we have this. Let's bake the texture maps. I'll apply the simple shader to this and to this. I need opacity map for this. Okay, and let's apply a simple material. Just a minute, it's lagging a bit. So apply simple plastic over this. Okay, let me take a look at my reference. I've forgotten about my reference. Okay, something like this. So I'm gonna hit right click and over here, change its color. Over here, I'm gonna actually, I need to create another layer, I guess. Okay, sorry, sir. What I need to do over here is I'll select this alpha test and select my model and then hit OK. Okay, I wasn't getting the alpha for some reason. Even though I added it, I wasn't getting. So let's add this and let's change the color once again. Okay, now I'm gonna activate opacity. Now I'm going to set opacity all the way down here. Okay, let's go into the rendering mode. Here I can see my glass. Right? Mode rendering. The only problem with this is I need to keep checking my glass inside rendering mode. That's the only issue over here. Right. Then I'm going to come over here and add a new layer. Just, let's go over here to rust, apply it over here, and just change its color. Apply smart mask. Let's go with this. Let's go into the mode and rendering mode. Let's set it to a little bit more white or something, the color, so that we can see the rust color. And I'll use this. mode, rendering mode. So can you see it, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The only problem with this is I don't know about new versions, but to check if the glass is working, so we need to go always come inside rendering mode. So say for example, if I've completely forgotten about my reference. So for example, if I want to follow my reference over here. Okay, now I need to go back into the painting mode and change its, at the time when we texture, we feel like the glass isn't working, but it is actually there. Okay, so for example, now we can just manually paint over whatever we want to. I'll add a new paint layer over here, and we can simply keep adding up. Like say for example, it was a bit more white than what we actually wanted to. And I forgot about this. I hope I'm clear with the glass thing now. I hope you get the idea.
Yes,
How,
yes.
yes, how to get the glass look along with dirtiness. And as I've said earlier, the only issue is you need to keep checking whether your glass has opacity using the rendering mode. Okay, so just a minute. I'll add this thing up. Now, anytime we want to, we can change the color as so we like, and we can duplicate. Just try to match the reference so that mask, add a black, add a white mask, paint. Okay, here, since I've used UDIM, I should have kept it on another UDIM. See what is going to happen over here is something funny. Even though this is supposed to be glass, this is going to become rubber since I've kept them on similar UDIMs. So I hope we all know UDIMs over here.
Yes, idea about UDIM. Texture representation of coordinate position. It's
Yes,
in
sir.
each coordinate of a texture in a one word.
Yes, sir. So can I talk about UDIMs if you like to, if you like me to speak on UDIMs?
I
Like,
think that we should be get discuss about the UDIMs also, sir, because it's really very important when we are working on a texturing.
yes, sir. Sure. So I'll discuss about UDIMs right now. Okay. So let me just first, let me check how this is looking. Just not necessary, but since I've done so much of hard work, I should be have the rights to, check it. Just a minute. Just mince and mix of both of the shaders. The more opacity, the more less the opacity is, the more glass look we'll get. All right, so let's get into Udem's. Now, since the glass look what we were trying to achieve is there. Now let's go back to Udem's. So can you give me a minute or so? Like, yes. Thank you. I'll import first. Let me import this and then. Okay, we'll work on the barrel. Just give me a minute, sir. Okay, so Arnold shader, we're gonna apply simple Arnold shader. Okay, now as we all know, UDEMs are different sets of code. Applying them in just here. Say for example, this is my UV shell, and I want to get a little bit more detail of texture on my particular side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand my texture, right? I'm going to scale it to get more, like not this much. Say for example, let's expand this. I want more details on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it up. But the problem or the issue over here is the texture will get overlapped. So what is the solution to this? The simple solution is shifting your island to the neighboring UV space. Okay. The thing about UDIMs is they always work in sequence. They're always named like this. They start from 100 and then 1, 100 and then 2, 100 and then 3. Means you cannot keep your UV island over here, directly over here. Okay, so UDIMs always work in sequence. That's the simple way to explain. Say for example, if this space has used up the second UV island, so what I'm going to do now is, now I cannot shift it right over here, over here, over here, over here. I'm going to shift it on to the third one. Now when the third space has been used up, I'm going to switch to the fourth space. Am I clear till now? The use of UDIMs is, see, even it's self-explanatory. The more larger the texture, the UV tiles, the more better you get the texture resolution. But the more UDIMs you have in your scene, the more time it takes for render. If you'll ask me, the thing that I've did on my truck over here, like, let me show you my truck for a minute. Truck model, apocalyptic truck model. First and foremost, sir, can I get some feedback from all of you with this particular model that I've done?
Really very interesting.
Thank you, sir. Like, it was supposed to be for a studio, for a gaming studio, but somehow the things didn't work out. I was working as a freelancer for them. The things didn't work out, so I decided, like, I'll improvise and I'll make something more interesting. And I did the version of myself. I used 4 or 5 references for this, Mad Max and Death Race, more references. And then the thing that I want to talk about over here is I have used multiple UDIMs on this. Like there's so many UDIMs, over 2000 or 3000 texture sets over here. So the more texture sets there will be, the more time it takes to render. That's the thing that we need to sacrifice. It takes a lot of time to render, but the result and the quality that we get is. But the only drawback about UDIMs is you cannot. No game engines support UDIMs, unfortunately. Like I've tried inside Unreal Engine, there was no support for UDIMs. I've tried inside Unity, there's no support for UDIMs. Even in CryEngine, there's no support for UDIMs. So it's quite a sorry factor, but that's what it is. See, now I can, increase, scale up the textures that I want to, texture sets. Now, if I decide to keep this over here, or scale it beyond this, this is not UDIMs. This is absolutely wrong. Okay. As we have known since, since earlier days, that the texture set a texture set should always be inside a UV space. So like even if we are using UDIMs, they should be contained inside this particular texture set. Say for example, if this is supposed to be for 4, it should always be inside 4. It should never expand like this. Even if we decide to keep it like this, it is absolutely wrong. It's not in sequence. It is actually overlapping. So I hope I'm clear. Like the way I'm explaining, I hope I'm clear. If it is confusing, you can please concept layout. Yes, sir. Nice mathematical explanations, sir. All right. So now all my UDIMs are in place. Now I don't unnecessarily, I do not need any more UDIMs. Try to avoid as much UDIMs as you can. Like keep it below 5 or so that your model doesn't take loads of time to render. Like if you'll ask me for this particular oil barrel, I won't need UDIMs. But yeah, for this display purpose, of course I do. Okay, so now all my UDIMs are in place. And for fun, let's do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my model like this, my UDIM like this. Okay, and file export selection. Barrel underscore UDIMs. I'll name this as UDIMs. I'll get rid of this. I need to check this because I'm using UDIMs. Discard. See, I still didn't get UDIMs and there's an error. Errors have been found while splitting meshes for UDIM tile. Mesh face has a face running across multiple times. Right? That's the error. We have our face running across multiple tiles. So now when we keep this beneath this UDIM tile and all of the things in proper position, all of the UDIMs are in proper position. Now when we export and bring it inside Substance Painter, there won't be any error, and there will be a lot of and there will be 4 texture set files. So file import new, select barrel UDIMs, open. Okay, create a texture set per UDIM tile, discard. Now you can see there's no error. Obviously, this is the error of my of this something that is missing inside Substance Painter, but you can see. Right? And this is the fourth one, which is the entire barrel. Now, each and every UDEM tile have their own texture sets. See, 2 has 2. I'll go on 4. You can see. So I hope I'm clear till now with UDEMs. Let me switch. So if there's no question, I'll move forward with UDEMs. I mean, how to bring them inside Maya. That's the key thing, right? We all want to know how to bring UDEM textures inside Maya. Now, so far you've explained what UDEMs are. Now, how to texture and then bring them inside Maya, right? So I'll move forward. 3D only. Okay. I'll quickly apply a few bit of textures. Sorry. Smart materials first thing is first we need to bake mesh maps, and we are going to bake all the texture sets. Let's quickly apply this blue barrel. Over here I'll apply this one. Over here I'll apply this one. Okay, let's use this. And over here I'll go with this simple thing. Okay, so now we have all our textures in place, and if we're going to go, if we want, we can just set this to somewhat base color. Let's set this to somewhat a bit black, just to make things look beautiful. Okay, now all our texture sets are in place. I have my textures and all we need to do is now export these textures. File, export textures. We'll export all those textures. Let's go with 1K, so it will take less time. Faculty development program, new folder, barrel underscore UDIMS underscore textures. Select the folder and leave the we'll leave all these settings by default. Let's simply hit export. As we'll open folder, we're going to see different text UDIM sets with their different base colors. See, 1001, 1002. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. Now, how are we supposed to apply the same textures inside Maya? That's a bit challenging. But if you'll ask me, it's no challenge, right? Explain. Okay, I just simply added this plane. There was no use. Just let's click on this. Go to Arnold's surface shader. Let's go into color. Over here, I'm gonna go file, image name. Now, which one to apply and oh, and where to apply, right? It's a bit confusing, but no. You can select, like we are applying the base color over here into the diffuse. You can select any of the base color. Like you can select this one, either you can select this one, either you can select this one or this one. It doesn't matter. So, for example, I'll select this one, base color 3. It doesn't make sense, like where is it going to go? But it will make sense. Let me show you. I'll select this one. I'll hit open. Okay. And I'll switch on texture, right? Still, we are not getting the result that we want, right? Over here, you can see UV tiling mode. You just need to click on this. And for some reason, next to UDIM, there's written Mari over there. Ignore that. Just into the tiling mode, select UDIM and hit. See, it detects that there were 4 tiles over this. Just hit generate preview. Got it? Understood? Am I clear with this?
Dear participants, if you have any query, please ask same.
Any query, please?
All clear, sir, till here.
All right, sir. So, yeah, same thing can be done with different maps. Like, say, for example, if I want my roughness map to be applied over here, select this file and select this. Any map will do. Any number of tile can do. Say, I'll select this one, 1004. I'll hit open, and into the tiling mode, I'll select UDIM. Now, for some reason, generate preview in Maya viewport for roughness map doesn't work. I've been trying this and I tried searched over the internet for this issue, but just couldn't find it. If you know, you can just explain why this happens. And now the same thing that I'm going to do with bump map. Okay, value. So let's set this to tangent space normal. Quickly, I'll select my normal map over here. Any number would do. I'll go Udemari, generate preview. Let's set this to raw and alpha is luminous. So now we have it. Everything is just quite there. Lights. We use a sky dome for this. Even the viewport begins to lag when there are a lot of UDIMs over there. Honestly, it shouldn't be that much problem for this particular model because this. Okay, I'll select my HDRI quickly. Quickly select my HDRI from here. quickly search my HDRI. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one. This is what I was looking for. Just in case I need a shadow. So as you can see, so as you can see, all the maps are working quite well, quite brilliantly, and we have UDIMs over this model. Right, sir? So anything else that I can help you with? I hope the UDIMs concept is clear and the use of it is quite clear. Okay, so anything else that I can, looking naturally beautiful. Thank you, sir. So anything else that I can help you with?
Dear participants, if you need something, please tell him.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
okay, so like this is quite clear with okay, sorry. I hope I'm still audible.
You are
Yes,
audible.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So like if you're working, in any VFX softwares and all, you can now simply go on and replace the background. And the most important part about UDIMs is you get a lot more details over your textures. Let me open up my model, and I'll show you the number of UDIMs that I've used. Apocalyptic truck. Okay, it's gonna take a little while, I guess so. Like, still have saved everything inside, saved everything in wireframe, but let's see. It's reading. Almost in every single part that I have, you know, that I've made and textured, I've used UDIMs. All right. So thankfully, I've saved in separate layers by switching off all those layers and saved in wireframe. So uh, if we switch on all the layers first, Okay. So if I'll hit 5, this is my entire thing. Only the subway car is hiding over there. So each and every part over here. Let's take a look at this. If I'm going to go over here inside UV editor, here you'll see multiple UDIM tiles. It's gonna take a little while. Okay. So see, as you can see, the more you scale, the more resolution of texture you'll get. And if I'm gonna hide this here. Okay, it's optimizing its viewport. That's why you cannot see the textures. But over here, when I'll click on this, let's see. And all of these are just 1K textures. So the use of UDIMs is you can sacrifice your higher resolution. Like you can also go with 1K if you're using UDIMs. In most of the parts that I've used in my truck or in other models that I make, I normally keep them at 1K but with multiple UDIMs. So what I get is I get more details over my textures in just 1K space. Okay, that's the key thing about UDIMs. And believe me, once you start using them, I've been, talking a lot about UDIMs because it is very interesting and very necessary. Once you begin using UDIMs, you're gonna find your work quite interesting, and you get some brilliant results. Believe me. Let me switch off my textures. Go back to wireframe. Control 1. Okay. See even in this part. Control 1. There might be 12 if I'm not wrong. There might be 12 or 13 parts in this. If not on this one, okay, not this one. Let me go here to the back tile. And any number of UDIM tiles would do. But as we have said earlier, the more the UDIM tiles, the more time it takes to render. Can you see how I've organized them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there's directly 20 over here. So what we do is we go back to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. But one thing you'll notice is that all of them are within the borders, within the UV layout borders. They are not overlapping or extending like this. Okay. So my model is unwrapped, has been unwrapped in so many UV layouts. So the use of these multiple layouts is actually called UDIM. How simple and how powerful it is. Okay, so I hope till now the concept is quite clear. And if there's anything else that you want me to help you with, I'm ready to, or else we can wrap up the session.
Dear participants, if you have any query, please ask him.
Anything, sir?
No, sir.
So far, the UDIM's concept is clear with you all because like this is very important. So I hope It is clear. And I hope my voice was and my way of explanation was clear. Thank you, sir. Abhishek, sir.
Yes, sir. It's clear. It's clear.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. So,
Yes, sir.
sir, can we end then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you for
everybody. Thank you for
support.
joining. And I
And
hope
really, it was nice session, sir.
Thank,
And really, all people learned so many things. And
thank you, sir.
it was nice session, great session, sir.
Thank you, sir. And I hope I was very clear. And if I was missing anything, and apologies for that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.